Hello. I thought I would just make a quick video about this. Um, it's not entirely finished yet, but my father needs a computer, and um, in like 2 months he'll need a computer, and he informed me that it does not have to be anything special, and well, what do you know, I just happen to have the perfect system for him. The definition of not anything special. This is a Dell Optiplex GX 620, and it's had some serious damage to it. Um, as you can see around the back, the entire back side has been shredded. It's a long story involving my brother. We'll get into it here, but yeah, not entirely a fun time. Well, actually, you know what? I will get into it. Basically, my brother was building a computer for my mother, and this was the case he had. But of course, this case design is proprietary because it's Dell, and so he ended up tearing out the back side so he could get the expansion slots in the correct orientation. Because with a normal motherboard, the let's see, yeah, this is the bottom, this is the top. In a normal motherboard, this is basically reversed. So if you were to be looking at it from this perspective, where this is the top, this is the bottom, and this is the front, this is the back, this layout would be very much different. These PCI Express slots would be over here, and they would be facing this way. Or maybe I'm directionally challenged. You know, hold on a second. Let me just go get a motherboard. I'll just show you. Alright. I am not directionally challenged. So this is a standard motherboard. And as you can see, the ports are actually facing the complete opposite way. So what he did was he essentially turned it upside down so it was like this. Let's see if I can get a good view of that. So he turned it around so it was like this, but he ended up, in order to do that, he had to end up shredding the backside. So, yeah. What else? Other interesting facets of my brother's adventures with this case is in the form of, well, where is it? Hold on a second while I get it. The most organized YouTuber on the planet. So this is the front I/O connector, and for whatever reason, he decided, I assume he's the one who did it, to just cut it out. Not sure why. So I was worried about this system. I was worried that when I plugged it in, I'd have no real way of turning it on. Luckily, it just turns on automatically. I'm not sure why. But I'm happy for it. And then, yeah, this is just the power supply I had. It's not even screwed in, so I've just put that there for now. I mainly just wanted to see if this thing even works. And it does indeed work. So, yeah. When my father said he needed a computer, I asked him what he wants, and he basically said it could be as shitty as it could possibly be. All it needs is a Wi-Fi card, and I have a Wi-Fi card. Slots right into there. So I have the most important thing in my possession, and it works. So I went about making the cheapest, most simplistic build I've ever done, and might ever will do. Is that even how you say? No, it's not even how you say that. And decided while I was at it to get rid of some parts that I didn't want, like this entire system. Don't want it. I was just going to sell it on Craigslist for probably free, because who wants this thing? But I'll be able to get rid of the Wi-Fi card, which I don't want. I'll be able to get rid of this adapter, which we'll talk about in a second, this power supply, this optical drive, and really everything else. So I thought, perfect opportunity to get rid of some stuff. clean out my office a bit, organize things, do some spring cleaning, even though it is technically spring. Now, it's technically spring. So let's talk about possibly the one part about the system that is custom, well, to an extent, and that is how I decided to do these drives. So I asked him, does he want an optical drive? And he said, if it's not too much trouble. And I took that to mean yes. So I have this IDE Molex optical drive, and I also have this 40 gigabyte hard drive. Now, some of you might be thinking, wow, 40 gigabytes, that's practically useless. And, well, I was thinking the exact same thing. What am I going to do with a 40 gigabyte hard drive? Windows 10 is going to take up about 32 gigabytes, which will leave about 8 gigabytes, which isn't a lot, but the kind of things he's going to be doing with this computer are very simplistic. It's basically going to be checking his email, surfing the web, looking at stuff on eBay, selling stuff, buying stuff, that kind of stuff. So it really doesn't need to be anything fancy. And if he does need more space, he can always put some drives into these empty drive bays. So I suppose with that, I'll actually talk about this adapter, which I have, but I don't really need or have any use for, so I figured why not just get rid of it. And that's part of why I set it up this way. So this is a SATA to, it's kind of coming undone, as you can see. You can see the pins right there. Kind of doesn't really stay in all that well, but whatever. So I have this SATA power and data. Let's see if I can actually look at it with the camera. So I have this SATA power and data, and it converts it to a IDE information and Molex power. So basically turns it into a legacy format. And the reason I decided to do this is mainly simplicity, because I already have this IDE cable running there. It would get messier to have to run a SATA cable from over there all the way over to here for the drive, and the kind of losses and speeds from using a converter from SATA to IDE doesn't really matter, because it doesn't really matter. That's the kind of, in the context of this system, given that it's for my father, I think this is fine. I would never do such a thing, because that would be atrocious. That'd be downright atrocious. Like, way to handicap your SATA 6.0 interface. If this is even SATA 6, it might just be SATA 3. I'm not sure. I tried looking it up. I couldn't find any info. But still, it's going to be better than IDE and Molex. So, yeah, I figured just for simplicity, because that way I can take these SATA power cables and just bundle them up and just stick them over there. That way, only the 24-pin ATX, 8-pin EPS, and the 2 Molex connectors are in use, and everything else can just be bundled away. So I mainly did it for simplicity, but admittedly, a big reason I also did is because I don't have any more SATA cables. I need to buy some. I found 10 packs on places like Amazon. Not too much, but yeah. Well, one of the things I'm going to do is, apparently, I thought this thing had an operating system, but I guess not, so I'll have to re-download it. Yeah, we'll see when I actually get into the Windows interface. For all I know, this might just be too much handicapping of this board drive. It might just be so bad, so unbelievably terrible. So I guess we'll see. I guess that's about it for the cheapest, most simplistic build I have ever done, and probably ever will do. It is quite bare bones. Anyways, that's about it. I'll talk to you in the next one.